I'm gonna share my screen. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. This is the first slide. It says super simple 6-step system to storage on it. Okay. All right, awesome. All right, so thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it. We have been actually my husband, Pete, he's the one that manages all the facilities. He has been in New York for the past like maybe 6 weeks to 6, 7, 8 weeks. I'm not sure, a while, hanging out with the family, right? Isn't it awesome that you can be in New York for 6 weeks and have all your storage facilities down in Georgia, and you're still managing all your storage facilities and they're still making money? Isn't that awesome? Yeah, so when like all the COVID stuff started, he just went to New York to be with the family, which is funny because everybody says don't go to New York, but he went to Long Island and just, he's been taking care of his parents and just making sure they're okay and fixing houses, and all of his family lives within like a 1-mile radius. You can literally walk to everybody's house. And so he just came up and he took the RVs, he took Lillian and all the dogs, and like spent the last 6 weeks in New York. I came up about 2 weeks ago, and I've been spending a couple of weeks. I took a couple of weeks and really got a couple of projects done that I had done. But isn't that awesome that we can literally be, and that's the whole point of self-storage. You could be anywhere in the world and manage your storage facilities. And that's exactly what we do. So if anybody knows us, they know, that we travel probably a couple of weeks out of the month, every single month. And what my husband and I wanted to do was we wanted to be as virtual as we possibly can so that we can travel as much as we can, and kind of just show Lillian, our daughter's 4 years old, just show her the world, and just kind of, teach her through what we call world schooling, right? So homeschooling and world schooling. And storage facilities has afforded us to be able to do that. Now, not everybody wants to do that. I totally get that. Nobody, not a lot of people want to do that, but we want to be able to be anywhere in the world and still make money. That's our goal. That's me and Pete's goal. So we're always thinking about ways that we can do that. I'm telling you, I discovered storage investing in 2017 when I bought my first facility. And our very first facility, we literally had no idea what we were doing. And it took a good year for us to figure out how to automate and systematize it so that we didn't have to be there. That facility that we have right now, I think we've been to that facility maybe once in the last couple of months, but once every maybe 5 to 6 months, we go to that facility. Just because it's automated and running on its own. I mean, there's really no reason to go there. And in fact, we haven't really met any of our tenants in the past 3 or 4 years. I mean, since it took us a good year, that very first building, everybody kind of knew us because we were trying to figure it all out. But then after that, we automated and systematized everything. And now we haven't met tenants in years. I mean, literally our tenants have no idea who they are because our office manager is the one that just handles everything, right? So that's kind of how we set our business up. And that's what we're going to talk about this week is I know everybody wants to get into storage facility, for storage investing. I know people want, to make passive income and to build passive wealth, but essentially every single one of the storage facilities that I ever buy, I know that's the idea of what they want, that the owners want to have passive income. They want to have passive wealth. But the truth is that they're really not managing their businesses So this is just going to give you an overview of how I kind of teach all my students. I've been teaching real estate investing for about 7 or 8 years now. And I always use my 6-step system to teach. And so we're going to go through that today and just kind of focus on how we can use the 6-step system for storage investing. And while we go through that, it's going to give you like an overview of like the storage investing world and what's going on, right? And so we're meeting from 1:30 to 2:30 every single day, and Monday through Friday this week, right here in this Facebook group, exactly like this, okay? Uh-oh, I saw the screen, you froze up. I'm live, so let's see. Can you refresh your screen? I'll refresh my screen. Let me know if you guys can still hear me. Hey, I'm still live here, so make sure. I can put it, yeah, I can put it the Zoom. I can put the link in for Zoom as well too, just in case. Let me see. Let me see if I can figure this out. Hang on. Let me stop this. It's not working.
Put the link.
Okay, hang on.
Let everybody know, regardless.
Okay, yeah. All right, so Pete's telling me that I guess Facebook is lagging a little bit. So let me get the Zoom link too, just in case. I'm not sure why it's not working, but just in case, let me get it to you guys. Hang on. And then you can watch it either in Facebook, and it's also recorded. All right, so just in case it is recorded, you can watch it again. It's going to be, I'm going to put it into the Facebook group as a unit as well too. Okay, so hang on, let me just get this link here. Let's see, copy the invitation. Okay, just in case, is this it? Let me just make sure. I'm in the 5-day challenge. Yeah, okay, good. Try that. Okay, try the Zoom link as well too. Okay, just in case. All right. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get started. So hang on just one sec. How do I do that? Zoom. Okay, share screen. Super 6-step system. Okay. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide here. I think I'm on this. Right? Okay. Okay, so today what we're going to talk about is the 6-step system. Within your 6-step system, this is what it encompasses. Okay, it encompasses like how do you find motivated sellers, how do you close your deal, right? How do you make offers, and how do you do this all from home, right? So this is everything that we're going to talk about throughout the day. Okay, and so what we're gonna so basically when I talk to people about learning how to invest in storage facilities, they bring up the same questions over and over and over again. Okay, what happens is people are always worried about three things: how do you find them, how do you fund them, right, and then how do you run them. Now a lot of people, when they think about storage investing, they do not think about this third one as much as I think about the first two. The truth of the matter is that when you buy storage facilities, you actually are buying a retail business. Okay, the retail business, you have to when you buy the facility, you have to run the facility, right? And nobody really thinks about that. And actually, the truth of the matter is the hardest part. The hardest part about buying a storage facility is actually running it so that you make a profit. Because the truth of the matter is that most people do not know how to run businesses and make profits, right? So everybody's always worried about finding them and funding them, but you really got to focus on is those two steps plus the run them, right? How do you manage your properties so that you can actually make money from it. That's the key, because the properties that I buy are the ones that the owners have no idea how to run them. They're not making enough money, and they don't realize how much money it costs to actually run these things. All right. So we're going to talk about all those things over the course of this next week. All right. Okay. So why storage investing? All right, so we're going to talk about this for just a second. The truth of the matter is in what I love about storage investing is that on an upturn, right, storage investing is great, right? And then on a downturn, storage investing is great. So essentially, like in any market that you're in any cycle that you're in the real estate investing market, you can always make money with self-storage investing. And that's what I love about them as well too, is they're kind of recession proof, right? So right now, over the past couple of months, there have been a lot of storage facilities that have really struggled, and the reason why they struggled was because of what's happening with COVID. Like nobody actually wanted to come into their building, right? Nobody wanted to come and sign the contract. That's why I said, like, when you run your facilities, you want to make sure that you're running those facilities so that you're completely hands off, you're completely passive, and everything that you do is electronic and online, right? And this is exactly what I teach my students. So, and the reason why we actually did very well in the last couple of months is because as soon as COVID started, what we did is we started marketing out that we were completely hands off. Essentially, for us, you can go to our website, you can reserve a space, you can sign a contract, and within minutes, you can be able to move into your unit. Right. And a lot of storage investors, number one, they don't even answer the phones, which is very frustrating to me. A storage, when I call a storage facility, they don't answer the phone. Very, very frustrating. But number two, they don't, like what they don't do is like you can't just go online. A lot of them don't even have websites. A lot of them you can't even find online. And the truth of the matter is that 85% of all storage facility owners are mom and pop shops, right? And 15% are like, the big box, like, Public Storage and U-Haul and all this kind of stuff. There's about 15% of those. We're going to focus on, the 85% and trying to get a hold of these people, right? Because most of these people, I'm telling you, they don't know how to run their facilities correctly. And so then they end up wanting to sell them, right? But the truth of the matter is like in any cycle, the best thing is that storage investing, you can still make money, right? You can still make that passive income and build that wealth, right? Maybe in a down cycle, you might want to hold on a little bit longer to the storage investing in the storage facilities. But actually, the truth is right now, like we're about to go into the down cycle, and I'm telling you, more than ever, like, well, not more than in the last couple of years, right? Since I've been into the investing world, there are so many people that want to buy storage facilities right now, and I totally get it because they're hoping that they can get a price cut because we're going into the downturn, right? But a lot of people are selling, and I've noticed a lot of storage facilities coming on the market when you go online to look for storage facilities. Now, we are not going to go online to look for storage facilities. Why do we not go online to look for storage facilities? Because they are way, way, way overpriced. And most of the facilities that go online, they are they're like big ones. They're like super big. Like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, $10 million, right? So who wants to buy a facility like that? I mean, that's just too much work. That's too much stress. I don't want to have like a $10 million loan on my shoulders. So we'll let the big box companies and the bigger companies go out and buy those, and we'll focus on what you're going to learn over this next week is like $1 million or less. And it really kind of depends on where you're located within the country, how much money everything is going to cost. But once you start getting over $1 million, I mean, it's just becomes like this big, huge business, and you can't, it's like, it's hard to manage those, when you don't want to buy a business, you want to buy an investment, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so we'll get into that. And oh yeah, so I wanted to just show you guys this chart, right, that came out like right after COVID started, and this came off of, I think, either I can't remember what site it came off of. I think it's selfstorage.com or something like this, but it was one of those websites out there that it's like, they give you information about storage investing, and there's a lot of websites like that. But essentially, as you can see at the very bottom, the third row, self-storage, this is all like, this is basically showing you like which segments in the real estate investing world, which segments in all of these niches are really going to be hit hard and are hit hard over the course of like the last couple of months. And as you can see, like senior housing and nursing and lodging and gaming and student housings, they're really going to have all malls. Like nobody wants to buy a mall right now, right? Yeah. So, but self-storage and cell towers, those are like, those are going to be fine. Those are going to be fine. And in fact, I've even seen storage facilities that have cell towers on their property. Like I've seen storage facilities that have like signs and cell towers, because the storage facility owners, they're actually pretty smart. They're like, how can I utilize my land to make the most amount of money, right? So those are some good ones to look out for. But anyway, so I think personally, and I agree with this chart, is that basically it's saying it's recession proof. Like we're going to be going down. Like the market's going down, but guess what? Storage facility may dip a little bit, but it's not going to dip as much as most commercial areas are going to be dipping. And so, okay, so basically, so I keep saying to everybody all the time, what's going to happen? What's going on in the market, right? Is it going to be a V shape? Is it going to be a U shape? So V shapes are usually like when you drop 6 months and then you come up 6 months, or maybe you drop a little bit more than 6 months and then you start going back up. A lot of people are saying it's going to be like a V shape, and we're going to just drop, the market's going to drop for 6 months or so, and then in 6 months it's going to go back up and hopefully be back to normal. But then some people say it's like a U shape, right? So it's going down, and a U shape is usually 12 months down and then 12 months up. It's a little bit more of a U, right? And at the bottom it kind of like it stabilizes and it goes back up. And so so if you're looking at Goldman Sachs or whichever ones that you're looking at, Millchap and whatever it's called, Milligan or whatever, though they're all like predicting all this different stuff. But the truth of the matter is we have no idea. We literally have no idea. Everybody's just predicting, putting out their theories and stuff. What I do is I know that I'm going to still always be looking for properties. I'm still contacting storage facility owners. I'm still I'm not going to give up. I know that passive wealth is the way to build longer term wealth, and I know that we're going to get through this, right? So for me personally, whether or not it's an upturn or a downturn, nothing changes in the storage world, right? In the storage, if you were going to be doing houses or whatever else you're doing, you would be changing stuff. But right now in the storage world, I'm doing exactly what I've been doing for the last couple of years and through the next years, which is still looking for properties to buy. Okay. Now, and then I'll move this up a little bit. This came from, Marcus and Millchap. That's what it's called. Marcus and Millchap said, with interest rates at an all-time low, real estate investors have a significant acquisition and refinance opportunity. Real estate is a long-term investment that is particularly well positioned to withstand financial market turbulence, right? This is right from Marcus and Millchap. You can go right to their website and they have like kind of a report section, and you can look up all the storage facility stuff that they post out, right? Because they just do like, they do like commercial reports. It's a commercial real estate data kind of company. And they do also real estate management and sales and things like this. But they're basically saying that storage facilities, they're going to be going strong, right? And I agree with them on that. While Marcus and Millchap forecast commercial real estate to remain stable, barring a major economic disruption, its outlook for self-storage is particularly positive. Space demand for self-storage units will experience little, if any, impact from the coronavirus. The national average vacancy rate closed at 9.9% and is expected to drift up to 10% in 2020, right? So they're basically saying that the coronavirus is really not going to affect that much in the storage investing world. What I have seen from like the coronavirus and everything that's happened over the past couple of months is exactly what I said. All these huge companies like U-Haul and public storage and extra storage and all of these REITs, they're either REITs and big box companies is what they are. They really struggle because essentially those types of facilities you have to go in, right? You have to sign the contract right then and there and pick your unit right then and there and pay and everything, right? So they didn't have any, like you couldn't reserve online. And so they really had to collect, they had to really, pivot and revamp and try to figure out how they can do a lot of stuff just hands off. What we did as soon as coronavirus started, and my husband Pete manages all of our storage facilities. And so what I do is I buy all the storage facilities. I spend the money and then my husband manages it afterwards most of the time. And so like what we did, it was very smart about this. As soon as like coronavirus started, we started doing like email blasts and Facebook posts and like Facebook ads and things like this. And it was like, we're completely hands off, right? You need a storage facility right now and don't want to come into the place, just call us up and you can just get it online, and then immediately you'll be able to move in. And we started marketing that out. We got so much business because of that, right? Another thing that we did see too was that a lot of these people that pay like 200, 150, 200, 250, $300 a month for their storage facilities, because they have like climate controlled facility, climate controlled utilities. What happened is that they just couldn't afford that anymore. They just couldn't afford it. Like if you get laid off, you can't afford $200 a month for your storage space, right? So like they downsized and they went to like non-climate controlled, $50 a month or $100 a month. We cater to those types of people, and this is just because we do it. There's nothing wrong or right or wrong about climate controlled or not, but we just cater to non-climate controlled $50 to $125 a month facility units, right? So we saw like an upswing in people moving, an upswing in people downsizing their facility, but their units, because they just couldn't afford it every single month, if that makes sense. Okay, and so this website too, you can take a screenshot of it if you need it, or you can write it down, but it's and that was the website that I was telling you about, InsideSelfStorage.com, InsideSelfStorage.com, and then there's like a little coronavirus section right there, and you can just go there, and it gives you like every day it puts out some blog posts on like all the storage investing world and like what's happening and stuff. This is a really good, and they also have like a conference every single year or two. You can check. I don't know if they're doing it this year or not, because of what's happened, but they do have like a conference. Okay, and then so how do investors weather the storm? This is exactly what they do. This is what I have been doing is, and if you guys know me, you know that I'm kind of one of these people that like, I'm more of like a trailblazer. I'm like one of the first people to do stuff, and the reason why, honestly, is because I just watch the market. That's really why. People are always like, how do you know which areas to go in? It's like, well, I look at market data, but like, this is exactly what you got to do, is you got to act early, right? So I've been investing in storage facilities for 4 years now, and we've been completely hands-off and passive for about 3 years now. And so like over the course of the last year and a half or so, we've made it so that we could just be anywhere in the world and have our storage facilities still manage themselves, right? We set that up so we can purposely do that, right? So we act early, we look at the long-term perspective, right? So as soon as as soon as we could, we start thinking about passive income and investing in passive income, building passive wealth, and we focus on growth, right? Not just cost cutting. And a lot of storage facilities and a lot of businesses, as a matter of fact, I mean, as soon as COVID started, they were like, okay, cut marketing, cut employees, fire everybody, right? We, on the other hand, I don't know how much stuff I've done in the last 3 months. We just went full power and just pushed everything, trying to get as much stuff as we can out. Okay. And then what should you be focusing on right now? All right, and still focusing right now is you need to have money, right? Because you have to have money in order to buy storage facilities, okay? You have to have money. And it's not like you may not need any money to buy, right? I'm 100% privately funded. I use private lenders to buy my facilities. I own a couple of $1 million worth of storage facilities. And I have only put $25,000 of my own money into to that, right? Only. Now I use my own money to manage the facilities, right? But I use other people's money to buy them. But you will need money. So you need to make sure that you can get credit, okay? So you need to get your credit in order if you don't have money already. This is not like wholesaling or rehabbing or anything like. You can't just go out, and it's not just $10 down or anything like. This is the commercial real estate industry. In the commercial industry, you have to have money to be a player. I mean, that's just how it is, right? Cash is king. Don't stop looking for properties to buy. Get involved in a community, in a RIA. If you guys don't know what RIAs are, I own the South Atlanta RIA. A RIA is a Real Estate Investors Association, and at least you'll be surrounded by other people that are interested in investing in not only storage facilities, but all different kinds of real estate niches out there. I'm a huge proponent of surrounding yourself with other people just like you to keep you motivated and to educate yourself. All right, and especially learn how to invest in store, and educating yourself on. This is what you should be doing right now, okay? And let's see. Okay, so how do we find? We're going to talk today about how we find the right market. How do we pick the right market? Find properties, wholesale storage facility. This is what we're talking over the course of the week. I'm going to talk about wholesale storage facilities to you guys. I have a student that just wholesaled a storage facility a couple of weeks ago, made $100,000 on it. I wholesaled a storage facility also like maybe a couple months ago, made $50,000 on it, right? So I will teach you how to do that as well too this week. So you got to come every single day, right? How to get a hold of your owners, right? All this kind of stuff. So we got some good stuff coming. All right, so let's have some fun. All right, let's do a quiz. All right, how many storage facilities do you think there are in the United States? In the chat, if you guys are still around, if you're listening to me, how many storage facilities do you think there are in the United States? Put your number of what you think it is into the chat. All right, is it 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 or 500,000 or whatever number that you think it is? How many storage facilities do you think are out there? So Masha says 50,000. What else? Who else is out there listening? And put a guess in, okay? Who else? And you can put your chat, if you want to do chat, put it into the Facebook group, please, because I can't pay attention to the Zoom chat and the Facebook chat and Q&A and all this. So if you happen to get on Zoom, just please use the Facebook chat to chat with me, okay? All right, who else has a guess for how many storage facilities are in the United States? Any other people out there guessing? Anybody out there? No guesses at all? Nothing? A whole lot of nothing. I guess maybe because there's like probably a lag. There's probably a lot of people guessing, but it's not a lag. So I'll just go ahead and answer so we can move along. But there are 50,000 storage facilities. There are more than 50,000 storage facilities, right? That's 5 times the number of Starbucks, all right, out there. 1 million, Daniel says 1 million. That's a lot of storage facilities. Yeah, that would be a lot of storage facilities. And then let's see, Bridget says 120,000. Oh, that's good. That was a good guess. It's a little high, but we have 50,000 storage facilities. I mean, that's it. So basically, what does that come to? About 1,000 a state. 1,000 a state. Now, probably the bigger ones have a little bit more, and the smaller ones have less, but on average, 1,000 a state. Okay. What's the average number of items that are in an American home? What's the average number of items do you think we have? Right? So but this is the thing with storage, self-storage investing, right? Is that the reason why self-storage is doing so well is because people they just have so much crap. Right? I mean, we have so much crap. My husband and I, over the past year and a half, we actually sold everything that we have, pretty much everything that we have, and moved into a tiny house. And the reason why is because I just kept seeing all these people putting all this stuff into these storage facilities. And, you know, and it's just kind of like, you know, why do people have so much stuff? I love people that have stuff, don't get me wrong, but we have a lot of stuff. We have a lot of stuff. So what do you think the number of items is? If you went through and you counted every single item in your house, how many items do you think it is? We're staying with like my husband's family right now, and I think like just the older generation, they just cannot get rid of anything. I mean, they have so much stuff, you know, love them to death, but they have a lot of stuff. So we love people that have a lot of stuff, but at the same time, like my husband and I, we just don't want to have a lot of stuff. So we sold everything, moved out, and moved out of our house, moved into a little tiny house, right? So Bridget says 350 items, and we have a 500 item. Yeah. So if you went around into your house, Bridget, and counted 350, I'm guessing you probably could have counted that like just in your bathroom. All right. So the total average amount of things that people have in their house is around 300,000. 300,000. Can you imagine? If you went through and counted all of the stuff that you have in your house, it would take days and days and days. And in fact, we got rid of pretty much everything that we own. We got rid of it and it took me from about March to June, and I had garage sales almost every single day. I just had all my stuff out, and I was trying to sell and sell and sell, and slowly it just got little and little and little. And then anything at the end, I was just like, I'm so tired of it. I just like gave it all away and stuff. But yeah, 300,000 items. Crazy, huh? Yeah. Yes. So the self-storage sector. So this is just a little snapshot, right, of where what we have, right? So the annual industry revenue is $39 billion. The number of storage facilities is 45,000 to 60,000, right, range. Total rentable self-storage space. Now, in the self-storage world, we don't talk about doors like multifamily. Like I'll say like, yeah, we have like 75 doors or whatever, but we talk about self-storage space. So if somebody asks you like, oh, how many facilities do you have? And then say how many doors, then they obviously have no idea what the self-storage world is about, because we talk about square footage is what we talk about, right? We don't talk about doors. That's a multifamily thing. Now, when I'm teaching storage facilities to multifamily, I talk about doors so they can kind of correlate, but most of the time we talk about square footage, right? And so we have about 5.4 square feet for every person in self-storage space, right? An average monthly cost for the self-storage is about $87 a month, right? So that's not too bad, right? So you can always just, use that number as an average. And this is our tiny house. I told you we moved into a little tiny house. We live in the North Georgia mountains. We moved there about August of last year. It took us from March to about June or July to sell everything that we have. And then we just downsized, and we decided with Lillian that we want to just do things, experiences, not things, right? Experiences, not things. I did rehab a lot of homes. So I have not only done self-storage investing, I've done a lot of rehab. So I've taken, and I didn't ever do like big rehabs. I just wasn't a big rehab person. I'm a small rehab person, right? So I'd take like a house like this, transform it. I did lots and lots and lots of these as well too. Okay, and so now I do this. This is it. This is my passion. This and teaching are my passion right now. So we're trying to buy as many storage facilities as we can. And guess what? We got 3 storage facilities under contract this week. Actually, this past weekend. So 3 more, right? So we have 6 right now. We have 3 more under contract. So hopefully we can get through the next couple of months and we can close on 3 more. I'm super excited. And they're about an hour away from us. So looking forward to that as well. But yes, storage facilities are what we do, right? So again, I want to say thank you so much for coming and being with me this week. I'm gonna try to share as much as I possibly can for you guys to get started in the storage world, understand all the different concepts, everything's going on. So if you want to learn about storage investing, then you're in the right place, because I'm here to help you. I have been teaching people how to invest in real estate for many years, and I love it, and it's one of my passions as well too. So I'm here to help you, okay? And why trust me? You trust me because I've been working in the real estate, and I've been working in the real estate market now for about 10 years. I've done over 100 rehabs in 5 years. I'm actually doing 1 rehab right now, so if I can find a really good deal, I'll do a rehab. But I'm going to really focus on storage investing. That's kind of my thing right now. Completed hundreds of transactions in the last year, all different things from wholesaling, rehabbing, commercial building, storage facilities, all creative deal structure stuff, rental properties. So I've done like the gamut of a lot of different types of transactions. hundreds of students like you over the last 5 years, and I own 6 storage facilities and now have 3 more under contract. So looking forward to that as well. And there I am. And this is actually an abandoned storage facility. So we'll talk about how we can find those as well. This is an abandoned one that nobody wanted. The owners just gave up on and said, I don't want this anymore. And it's all overgrown. And he just like let it go, right? So they're out there. So there's no abandoned storage facilities, and I've found many abandoned storage facilities. I was actually taking a group of my students out, and we were doing like an infill training day, and we happened to come across a storage facility that was completely abandoned, and they were all just like shocked, like, oh my God, Stacy, it's true. And I was like, I told you guys. Nobody believes me. They're out there. Okay, also, I want to make sure that you guys get my 6-step system. So make sure that you text the word REIA, R-E-I-A, to 818-818, and as soon as you do that, you're going to be put into a funnel, and that funnel is going to be your 6-step system, right? My 6-step system to storage, which is a downloadable template that you can have that takes you step by step. So please make sure that you text that as well too, so that you can get that. Okay, and that's that. Okay. Okay, and then now the departments. Okay, I want to just go over the departments today so you have an idea of what's to come over the next couple of months and what I'm going to be focusing on, what next couple of days and what I'm going to be focusing on. All right, so here are your 6 departments. Okay, here are the 6 departments within your with any real estate investing business. You always, I mean, personally, this is how I teach. So, and we're going to go through. So first is your office admin, right? We'll go into depth in that in just a second. Marketing, finance, acquisitions, management, and then you don't see it, but there's liquidations. Liquidations is the last one, okay? And we'll get into that just a little bit at the very end. But these are these ones right here, these are the main ones. Because a lot of people, we're looking for buy and hold, right? So like we don't want to liquidate, but if you want to wholesale, you want to liquidate, okay? But then you can write those down: office admin, marketing, finance, acquisitions, and management and liquidations. Okay, so in your office admin department, these are kind of the things that you need to be focusing on right now. Okay, you need to be setting up your phones, right? Because you need to be able to be making calls on a business phone line. You don't want to use your personal line with your business line. So make sure you set up 2 different lines, a business and a personal. Okay, and then the business, if you do find a storage facility, then that would be your business line as well too. You could use it, because you could use that one, or you could have a separate number. It doesn't really matter kind of how you set it up. I have a personal line and a business line, and then we have like our storage facility line, right? Is what we do, because our office admin, she kind of answers all the phones for that, and then I'm the one that's like, calling and talking to people and stuff about selling. You want to make sure that you go electronic, all right? So this means that you're like, and I teach this to all my students, everything is going to go right on. Everything is going to go right onto right into Google Drive or into the cloud, right? Because you want to make sure that you can, like on my phone, where if I'm out looking for storage facilities, I can pull up my information on anything that I have right there on my Google Drive, right? So if I need to look up anything like that, I just have it right on my phone. So you want to be electronic, and I'm telling you, this is a habit to get into. Every single one of the storage facilities that I have, every single one that I've ever found, there's a folder in the drive for, right? If I want to talk to any one of these owners, there's a folder there, and it says 1, 2, 3. It just says like whatever. It says like ACE storage facility, right? And it has the address, and within there we'll have like pictures of the facility and all the information about that facility, right? So that's all like in the Google Drive folder. So you want to have everything set up online, so that if you're out in the field, you can pull it up right on the Google Drive app. So does anybody here use Google Drive? I'm not sure. If you use Google Drive, then you kind of understand what I'm saying. Or use the cloud, use OneDrive or Dropbox or whatever it is that you use. But essentially, so what happens is, like for instance, just a couple of weeks ago, my laptop just died. Like I came to work and tried to start it, and it just wouldn't start, right? Well, Well, thank God, I have everything up on Google Drive, right? So my whole folders, everything is on there. So I didn't lose anything at all. So I was like, yeah, whatever. I just went out and bought a new computer and like set it up and then signed into Google Drive, and then my computer was all set up again. Like did not lose anything at all, right? So that's how you want to be. That's really how you want to be, right? Just in case. All right. So that's what I mean by electronic. And then and that's what I mean about the Google Drive, is that you just want to have a folder. Like we have, we have Miss Lillian self-storage, and then underneath Miss Lillian self-storage, we have all the different locations of all of our different facilities. And then within that facility, you can open that folder up, and then all the different things that we need for that facility are right in there. So like our corporate documents, or like anything for auctions or whatever we do, it's all within those folders. So it's very easy to find that. And Google Drive syncs right on your phone, so you can just pull that up right on your phone. If I ever need anything, it's just right there. That's what I'm talking about, okay? Okay, so, and then you want to set up your LLC. You want to set up your LLC. I've paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to get LLC set up, but you want to have essentially a buy and hold LLC, right? To buy all your stuff in, and then you want to have, like, if you're going to wholesale, you would have like a whole different company for that. So you don't want to do both of those transactions in one business, right? So you want to have an LLC. You do not want to be buying, and I'm telling you, I see storage, and actually the guy that I'm going to be buying the 3 storage facilities from, guess what? It's in his name, just in his name. I'm like, come on. So you do not want to be buying your businesses in your name. You need to have LLC. And actually, we have companies set up for every single one of our companies. We don't even put any of our companies in the same one. We just separate all of them out just to be safe, right? You just never know what's going to happen. And then you want to start building your team up. That's what you got to focus on as well too. Is like you're going to need like a realtor to help you look for houses. Look for properties. You're going to need you're going to need to start working on building that team up, and we're going to get more into that over the course of the week as well too. Okay, that's your office admin. Marketing. All right, so now we got to figure out how to find these things, and your homework for tonight is going to be to practice. Now we're going to get more into this tomorrow. Okay, so because you need like a whole hour to do marketing, but essentially what you're going to do is you're going to first figure out your market that you're going to be in, right? So if you are in a major metropolitan city, if you're in like Orlando or Denver or whatever, like most of the time it's going to be like super hard to find anything. And then like in Atlanta, you can't find any storage facilities. All the big box companies came in and just bought everything up, and there's no use to look inside the city. Now, along outside the metro Atlanta area, as you get further and further out, then you can find more and more properties, and the cheaper that they get, right? So depending on how much money you have, right? Depending on how much money you have, the further away from the city that you want to be. And us personally, we don't have. We have some like kind of, and we have some like kind of on the outskirts of like the major metropolitan area, and then we have also some that are like way out, right? Because we have certain budgets. We spend anywhere from, I say, $250,000 to $600,000 on our storage facility. Okay. So now what you have to do is you have to figure out like where are the 250,000 or the 650,000, whichever ones you think you can afford, right? Right? And where should I be within that area? And if you can only afford a $250,000 storage facility, you've got to be out further from these metro Atlanta areas. Now, if you live in like a tiny town, or something like this, then most likely you're going to have something in your price range, right? But for now, you just need to figure out what area it is. So tell me in the chat, what areas do you think that you're in, and are there any like suburbs or anywhere around your areas that you think you can focus on? Okay, and then you can figure out which market that you want to be in. All right, so we'll talk more and more about that tomorrow, but tonight your homework is going to be trying to figure out which markets that you can be in, right? And the way that you can do this is you can just go right online and go right to Google Drive, I'm sorry, not Google Drive, Google Maps. Go right to Google Maps. And then wherever you're at, like don't go inside of the city, right, of the big metropolitan areas, but in the outside areas, search for storage facility. Just, and you can type storage facility, self storage, just storage, mini warehouse, warehouse. Kind of just search online on Google Maps, and then you can try to get an idea of like which storage facilities are where. Now, of the 80 of all the storage facilities in the world, I'm going to tell you that probably 50% of all storage facilities are on Google Maps, right? The ones that we're going to be looking for are not going to be on Google Maps, right? So the ones that I'm buying right now, the 3 that I'm buying, they're not on Google Maps because the guy, he doesn't know how to get them on Google Maps. He don't even care, right? So, but it gives you an idea of just the market. So it's market research. It's market research is what it is. So your first job is to figure out which markets you're going to be in by going online and start searching around to see which storage facilities are where. And then what you want to do is you want to take off the big box ones. You want to take off the big ones. You want to take off U-Haul, take off, public storage and all these different things if you see those, and then you want to focus on the onesies and the two, like maybe somebody that has 1 or 2, right? If you see like a couple, like I said, there'll be some people that have like 1 or 2, 2 of them or something, but and then look around for most of them that are like the ones, right? And whether or not they're big or small, it doesn't matter. It's just that they're not big box, right? And kind of get an idea and familiarize yourself through Google Maps what your market looks like for storage investment, right? And I'm telling you, this is the best way to, one of the best ways to look for storage facilities is to just look online and look on Google Maps and really kind of familiarize yourself. I mean, I know within my area in the North Georgia mountains, I have been to every storage facility. I have driven by every single storage facility and just checked them all out just to see what was in the area, what the market is. I mean, in my area where I live in the North Georgia mountains, there's like just in Jasper alone, because I'm in Jasper, Georgia, there's like 20 storage facilities. 20 storage. I'm like, why? And the town is like only 10,000 people. I'm like, why is there so many storage facilities? But we're kind of at the base of the mountains, right? So people like, because we live on the top of a very high mountain, so you can't take your RV there. You can't take anything up into these mountains, right? So they have all these storage facilities and RV parking and boat parking kind of in this area because everybody's just driving up into the mountains and they can't park all their stuff there. Now, would I go and buy a storage facility in that area? No, because there's like 20 storage facilities. I mean, there's like way too much competition. We're not going to go out and find storage facilities where there's like 20 in a 10, in a 5-mile radius. But that's why you need to look. That's what I'm saying. That's why you look to see how many storage facilities are actually in your area, right? And your homework throughout the week is like to go and drive by and just, check them out. In your area, just drive by and see kind of what's out there. You know what I'm saying? No, you are not looking for storage facilities that are currently for sale. You are just looking for storage. I have never, ever bought a storage facility that is currently for sale. The owners that we're going to talk to and the people that we're going to talk to, they don't know they want to sell. In fact, the one that I'm talking to now, he's like, I never even thought about selling until you called, right? So that is how you look for a storage facility. And I'm going to tell you the reason why you do that is because if you go online to look for a storage facility, you will not be able to get the cap rate that you need. Your cap rate will be way too small. Way too small. And we'll get into cap rate and all that later as well too. But you want to buy in double-digit cap rates and sell as low as you possibly can. So of course, people are selling them from 5 to 7% cap rates, right? But we don't do that because we know if we go directly to the seller and talk to the seller, that we will get a higher cap rate. And we go to the sellers that don't even think about selling, right? They don't even have selling in their mind, right? So that's what we're going to focus on. That's how you find storage facilities that you can actually make money on, right? So that's kind of what you focus on for that. And that is, we're going to go more into that tomorrow, but your homework for tonight is to look at your market in your area online on Google Maps, just searching on Google Maps for all the storage facilities in your area to get an idea of what is out there that you might be interested in, okay? And then come back and post it into the private Facebook group. So, hey, like I searched out and I found like 3 storage facilities that look rather big, and then I found like 2 more that are kind of smaller. Kind of like, give us an idea of what you found in your homework and come and post it in the Facebook group, okay? Acquisitions, and we're going to spend a lot of time on this as well too. Over the next week, we'll spend another day on this, okay? But you have to figure, that's why I said you got to figure out your cap rate, and I will show you how to do that this week. You've got to run comps and learn how to run comps, and understand your competition, right, as well too. So you can't really get a comp on storage facilities because when you run the numbers, it just doesn't work out that way. But you have to understand your competition in order to understand what the value of your property is, okay? And then deal analysis, right? We'll focus on that. And then all the documents you need in order for you to make an offer, or if you want to make an offer on the property. So those are like the steps within the acquisitions department. And I'm not going to spend too much time on that because we will get into that this week. And then for financing, just like I said, I'm 100% privately funded. I just borrow other people's money to buy storage facilities. Okay, so that's what I do. All right. And then also what I do is creative deal structure. And you're going to learn a little bit about that this week as well too. So for instance, the 3 that I'm buying now, the owner, he wanted a certain price, and I told him I'm not going to give him that price unless he owner finances it to me. So guess what? He agreed to owner finance, right? Because he wanted that price. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well too, okay? So creative deal structuring, when I talk about creative deal structuring, that means convincing the owner to be the bank, number one, or getting a partner to come in and give you the money, right? And partnering with somebody, right? And it's like coming up with creative ways to purchase the property, right? That's what creative deal structuring is. And I will go into that over the course of the week as well too. Private money lending, PML is private money lending, and then there's hard money lending. Private lending is when I go to my friends or families or neighbors and say, hey, do you have like a couple $100,000 I could borrow? And then they go, what? And they say, okay, I'm going to buy a storage facility. And they say, oh, okay, so you can make a lot of money if you lend it to me. All right. So that is creative. That is the private money lender. Hard money lenders out there, it's a higher interest rate and a shorter amount of time, but that's usually asset-based, right? So if the property is making money, then they'll lend you money, right? So we'll talk about that over the course of the week as well too. And the thing is, there's so much money out there. I'm telling you, there is so much money out there. All right. So if you guys, and everybody always worries about the money. I totally get that, but I don't have any issues. There's no issues. I'm telling you, except for you just have to understand how to be creative, and you have to understand all of the financing, the financing terms. You've got to be able to talk to your lenders and show them figures, right? So creative deal analysis. I'm sorry, not creative, commercial deal analysis is what I'm talking about, right? So you've got to understand cap rate, yield, ROI, cash on cash return. You've got to be able to discuss these with your lender, all right? They're going to be asking this, not a private lender, but like your hard money lenders and your commercial lenders are going to be doing this. When I say commercial lenders, I talk about like SBA, I talk about going to a local bank and borrowing money. I talk about commercial, like out there's like commercial lenders that just lend on commercial deals, right? So that's what I'm talking about, is understanding creative commercial deal analysis, so that when you talk to them, that you can actually answer the questions and show them what they want, okay? So there's creative deal structuring, private money lenders, hard money lenders, commercial lenders, transactional funding. If you're going to wholesale, then you need transactional funding, because basically what happens when you wholesale a storage facility is you have to close on it, and then after you close on it, then you sell it again, right? Because you don't want the buyer to
know, or the seller to know how much money you're making, right? So I don't want anybody to know making 50 grand on this transaction, okay? So what I do is I borrow the money to close and then I resell it again. That's called transactional funding, okay? And then bookkeeping also falls into this as well too. And bookkeeping is actually for sourceful is not really that difficult. Thank God. There are liabilities and there's loans and stuff, assets and loans, but it's not very difficult, which is good. Okay, and then management, right? So you want to be able, you have to be able to train your tenants, right? So this is when you buy the facility, now what? This is the answer, train your tenants, all right? So you don't want to become you don't want to become the type of facility that I would buy, right? And that type of facility is an owner that doesn't know how to manage their facility properly. When I say that, I mean train your tenants, right? We have certain days on the first of the month, rent is due. On this month, rent is late. We're going to overlock your facility on this day. We're going to start the auction process on this day, right? So you don't want to be the tenant that's like, oh, a couple months later, 6 months later, a year later, and they're still not paying and you haven't done anything about it, okay? So that is what I'm talking about, training your tenants. And I'm very, very big onto this. We are not, now over the past couple months with the COVID and stuff, we did do like some forbearance things to kind of help some people out. But honestly, the truth of the matter is there really wasn't a lot of people that asked for that, which was awesome. But, you know, we worked with them. And then after, you know, a couple of months of not paying, we're like, okay, dude, like now is the time. Like you have to pay or you have to get out. You know, and then of course, like everybody starts to pay. Like that's why I said, like when you train your tenants and you put your foot down, people are going to pay, but if you don't, then they're going to just take advantage of you. They're going to take advantage of you. All right, you have to go all electronic, like I said, right? So you're the type of company where like you don't even have to meet your tenants, right? You don't have to meet, you can be anywhere in the world and you can still fill those units up, right? And the only way you can do that is if you automate and systematize. You know, you automate and systematize internally so that you can manage that. You need to understand the auction process in your law, in your state. Every state is completely different, right? So I can tell you what the Georgia one is because that's where I'm at, but you have to truly understand the auction process and how that works. Now they're all kind of the same, but they're all kind of different, right? And you have to understand tenant law in your state, right? So are the tenants that you like rent houses, is it the same kind of law that rents your units out, or is it completely different? In Georgia, there's like a storage facility tenant law and there's like a rental house tenant law. There's two different types. Some states it's the same thing. So you really have to understand the tenant law and the auction laws in your process, in your state, so that you can. And then once you automate and systematize, right, you get to scale up and you can go out and buy another one. That's why I said like after we got the first one down and tried to figure it out, I was like, all right, ready to buy another one now because this one doesn't take any time for us, you know. And that's it. I did it. I talked about those. Now we'll get into the liquidations department over the course of, because when we do wholesaling, we're gonna do a lot of liquidations as well too. But that is kind of it for the first day. And I also put my YouTube channel on there as well. So if you're interested, you can always watch the webinars there if you want to go out and do that as well too. And this webinar will be saved and it will be put into the Facebook group as a unit. So you can come back later and you can watch it. I won't keep it open forever, but I will keep it open for a little while, okay? Okay, good. Any questions? Anything else like this? Okay, so Garrett says, does your private money match local financing rates? No, 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 no. Private money is like double. You can go out, well, I mean, as of right now for commercial lenders, maybe like 6%, 5 to 6% interest is what you can get. Now it is getting, they are asking for down payment. You have to do a down payment of like 20 to 30% for commercial lenders, right? You need to have at least 20 to 30% down because they have all these fees and then they have your down payment and it's just like, you need a lot of money, all right? You need money. So depending on how much money that you have, you kind of reverse engineer it. You say, okay, I have like X amount of money, so that means I can only afford this much money to borrow, you know, so because it's basically the 80-20 rule, right? So 20% down, and then you can borrow 80%. Now, when you go to a private lender, it's like double the rates. All right, it's like double. You're going to be paying like quite a bit of money per month, but that's because you know, it's easy money. Like you just go and ask for money, and they say yes, and then they just loan you the money. They do a wire, and that's it, right? Whereas banks, it's like they just put you through so much crap, right? So that is why the financing is not the same. Private money lenders and hard money lenders will always be more expensive. Okay. Okay, good. Any other final questions for today on storage investing? Great virtual event as always, Stacy. Thank you. Look forward to the next 4 days. Awesome, cool, Masha. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. And I will be here. Again tomorrow, 1:30, and hopefully I'll post out in the Facebook group the Zoom link, or you can do Facebook Live. We're gonna do it exactly like this because I'm not sure, you know, how the lag is and everything with Facebook, but all of the posting, everything will go right into the group. So remember, your homework is to look up storage facilities in your area and let me know what you found. And if you have any questions, say, hey, I found this one, is it good? You know, or like, you know, what does your market look like? Are there any storage facilities in your area? If you live in a rural area, we actually have storage facilities that are kind of semi-rural as well too, and there's nothing wrong with those as well. So okay, all right, I'm here for you guys, and I will see you tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. Eastern.